And I am live. And this would be my first time going live, so I don't expect to have much of an audience. But of course, I know folks can go back and watch this. So I had the idea this morning to do a live to show 5 artists who I really like for artists that have done heavy metal or hard rock album covers. And I don't know about how many other headbangers out there were hooked by artwork. But when I was a kid, elementary, middle school, and high school, all the way up to adulthood, there are so many bands that I got into because of the artwork. You walked into a store and there was a record and the artwork popped. It grabbed your attention. You decided to spend the money on it. You brought it home and you fell in love with the music. And so there's tons and tons. Those CDs back there, records that, bands that I just took a gamble on because of the artwork. And most of the time, the music's been great. There are times where, a band may have an album cover that looks really cool, and then you're disappointed with the music. Maybe the band decided to go new metal or something, and it just doesn't match up. But and then there's other bands that have great music, and the artwork just doesn't speak to you. But without any further ado, I want to share 5. And for any of you that listen to metal, you're going to be familiar with these. Well, you'll be familiar. Some of you will be familiar with the bands, but yeah, I would imagine you'll be familiar with the artists. So I don't know that I have a real big order here. It's top 5. I'll just say 5 to going down to the top one, number 1. I'll end with that one. But this order could change day by day. The first one, and I've got a lot of album covers from this artist. This one is done by Travis Smith. So I'm not saying that this is by far my favorite Travis Smith cover, even though it could be. This one's pretty awesome. This is the band Psychotic Waltz, American they're prog metal, and this is, I believe, their 4th studio album, Bleeding. But that the artwork and Travis, between CDs and records, I've got so many albums with his artwork, and I'm sure he uses some computer graphics to create his work. I'm not an expert on artwork, but this one does have kind of some kind of computer generated imagery to it, but it's fantastic. So great band, great artwork, and really great artist. The next one is one that I found out about, actually probably exposed to his artwork before I even picked up my first CD or tape with his artwork on it. And I was kind of a late bloomer to Kiss, which I'm probably giving away who the artist is. So it was kind of in the more late 80s that I started picking up some cassettes with Ken Kelly's artwork on it. And I love fantasy, got into, of course, Lord of the Rings and Dragonlance, and really was attracted to that wrong turn there. That style of artwork, just dragons and wizards and elves and all that good stuff. And Ken Kelly was just one of the later masters of that. Now, instead of pulling a Kiss record, I decided to go with a band a little more obscure. This is a German band, and I believe this was a one-off, Asgard in the ancient days, and it was released in 1986. But just a fantastic fantasy album cover. And that's something. Had I come across this during the 80s, I would have grabbed this for sure. So really, love it. I mean, the Kiss album covers are great, and Ken Kelly's done Man of War, which one of my favorites is Triumph of Steel. And I just found out recently that there's a version of that cover from it was pressed in Germany that's just black. It's got the Man of War logo, and the imagery, the artwork is not on the cover. Maybe they have it on the inside, and that it might be a gatefold, but that's the selling point is the artwork. So having an all black album cover with the band's logo just wouldn't do it for me. So great artwork. The next one is another guy that I found out about, not through music, but through comic books, and DC Vertigo label, as to be specific. And I got really big into the Sandman series, and it was Dave McKeen that was doing all these really spooky but beautifully painted art. And he also did the spin-off Death, which was the sister of Sandman. And so Dave McKeen did this Alice Cooper, The Last Temptation, which was around the time that Alice started professing his faith again. And so there's definitely some gospel message maybe kind of interwoven in this album, and I believe, well, the two that followed this, but this one's one of my favorites. And there's I believe a booklet. I haven't cracked this one open in a while, but there's some additional artwork, and this was a thematic album. So there's kind of a story that's interwoven through the songs, and it's one of my favorite Alice Cooper albums for the songs, the lyrics. But how do you not love that carnival spooky album cover? So yeah, Dave McKeen, one of the best, and he's a British artist. All right, I guess this one would be number 2, and this is another British artist, one who's done a lot of death metal albums, and actually some of the very early secular death metal bands that I picked up, Malevolent Creation, Entombed, had this artist's artwork, and even to this day, some of the newer extreme bands will use his artwork, and when you see it, you know exactly who did the artwork. And this one is Dan Seagrave. Of course, I believe Seagrave is kind of his work name, but Clandestine. This is Entombed, and this is their second album, and I love it. It's kind of got like an Aliens, so H.R. Geiger kind of feel to it. Really spooky artwork, hence why he does a lot of the death metal stuff, but just really really beautiful paintings, beautiful in a creepy way. But and so actually I think I might prefer Left Hand, the first album, Left Hand Black, I believe. But this one I had handy, and I like this one because it's got the textured cover. So yeah, just fantastic artwork. And then my top one, I guess, listening to metal in the 80s, late 80s, and being big into it through the 90s, even during the time that people were saying metal was dead. I don't know that anybody would be surprised by my first pick, but the artwork that really got me into this band and got me into heavy metal, I would say almost solely because of the artwork. I mean, going into a shop and seeing art on the album covers, and then the music, it just went perfectly with the covers, and didn't take long for me to fall in love with this band. And so Derek Riggs, have to put him as top number 1. I mean, how can somebody look at his beautiful drawings, his artwork, and not be impressed with it? Even some of the spooky, some of it maybe a little on the spooky side, Number of the Beast, and Fear of the Dark, but it just is. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to put words to the artwork. It is just phenomenal, and he is one of my favorites. I would have to put him top. An honorable mention that might come close to bumping him out wouldn't be a heavy metal artist, but progressive, and that would be Roger Dean. I love all the yes album covers that Roger Dean did. He's another phenomenal, otherworldly artist. So just, but there you go. That's my top five as of today. There's tons of other really great artists, but those were the five that I kind of go to the most. And so yeah, um, if any of you out there watch this and you've got a favorite artist, album cover artist, maybe just throw down in the comments who your favorite is. If you want to do your top five, that's cool. If you just want to mention your favorite, that's cool too. Wouldn't mind a like or two. Uh, I appreciate you watching. It's been over 10 minutes, so I won't keep anybody this Sunday, but thanks for watching. God bless.